Hi, welcome. So in the last video, we looked at aggregations like count, sum, min, max. And in this video, we are going to continue with those aggregations like count, sum, min, max. And then we are going to see how to integrate group by, which is the next command that we are learning. So we've already learned the select, from, where. Now we will have to understand what the group by brings on the table, and it's really very effective, especially with these aggregation functions like count, sum, min, max, average. So we are going to look at all of that today and see how the group by would put all of this together and give us some interesting information from our analysis. So let's just go straight to the computer and look at that. So we have our workbench open here. So if you haven't installed it, you can just go. There's a previous video we did installing workbench, and also the data set that we are using here, the staff demographic and the staff salary from this staff DB database. We created it in an earlier video, so you can always go and watch the previous video, and in there are links. There's a link to be able to get the data. So let's go and see what we are going to learn today. We are going to just do our long comments. So the first thing we are going to talk about is the count. Then we are also going to talk about the sum, min, and then max. Look at average, AVG, average. And then we'll also just look at the round function, which is interesting. And again, these are functions which are found in most of the tools that you'll be using. So you just becoming familiar with all of these things. And then the group by, of course, which is for SQL. And let's just get that. So we looked at count in the last video. So let's get this. Let's just take, say, the staff salary here. So we are going to do a select star from. So select star, then from. Now we do our staff demographic or staff salary. Then we are going to say, so now this is highlight. This is not highlighting because this comment, you have to put it here instead when you're closing. So like that, now you have the highlights. So remember to always start with the /. There's a star, then the star and the / at the end. So that's how you close it. So staff salary. And then so if we just run this, we have the staff ID, the job title, the salary, and then we could want to use the count function like we did in the previous video. So we are going to say select count. So I'll just put that below this command here. So we just say select count. Then we might want to count everything, all the rows. Then from, again, it's good for it to be in capital letters. From staff salary. So staff salary. Then now we say where job title. I'll just take this one. Job title equals to receptionist. Okay, so if you run this, we get 2. So this is what we saw in the previous video. So now let's see if we can get something, let's say here for the staff demographic. So we are going to say we want to get the count per sex. So let's run this demographic. And then we are going to use the group by here. So if we run this, we want to group this so that we have just male, and then maybe we have the average age here, and then we have just female and the average age here. So how do we do that? Going to use this. So when we run this, we get the male, female. So now let's see how we can use something like average or count or any of these aggregation functions to be able to introduce the group by now into as one of the commands. So now we are going to say select, let's get the staff demographic here instead. So we want to get the staff demographic here. So paste. Now we can now say, okay, we don't need this where. So we are saying count this. Now we want it to count the gender. If you want, let's just put the gender here. ER. Let's put the gender there. Then we now can add the command. Now we say group by. Group by. So group by gender. So okay, when we run this, what's going to happen? Let's run this. So we get the count in terms of the gender. So there is a 2 and there is an 8. So it is, if you remember this table here, it was able to group by gender, say male 1, 2, female 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it did this group by, and then you got 2, 2, and 8. So usually when we do group by like this and with these aggregation functions, we tend to have, instead of because let me just use star and let's see what's going to happen. So if I use, for example, star here, comma, then I run this. So it at the end, it returns everything here. So we don't get the results we want. So, but whereas if I say this gender that we have here, what if now I want to see the gender here? So I put it here, V for example, and then I run it. So you see, it now makes more sense because I'm able to see the male are 2, the female are 8, and just by the fact that this group by, whenever you want to do a group by, most of the time you'll be using the aggregation functions here and you'll be listing the columns that you want. So you will not use star. Or what if I used another column? Let's just say I use something like staff ID. Let me just add, even at the end, doesn't matter, staff ID. So if we run this, we still get it, the group by doesn't get its effect. So whenever you are using the group by with these aggregation functions, you should remember to list this, like the one that is in the group by, and then the aggregation function, so that you can be able to have something cleaner and clearer, so that there are no contradictions in when it's trying to do the group by. So it's clear the male were 2, the female are 8. So we can do the same thing. So if we want, for example, to get their average age, to see an analysis of who are, maybe do we have more of the male age or we have more of the female age, so we can do the average here, and then we run just this one here, for example, and then we say the average of now we can't use gender here because it is a character. So normally we are supposed to use age. So if we run this again, we are supposed to use the age column, because it can't get the average of gender when gender is just male, female, male, female. So you have to use something like age here instead. So let's just change this to age, and then we let me just correct this to age. So age, why is my age? Then we run this, just this one. So we now are able to get the average age based on this. So where we are doing the aggregation is on age, and then we are trying to group by the gender. So we have the aggregation here, and then we have this group by, which is here, and the group by is here. So it's just to practice, and with practice you would be able to understand some of these things better. So if, for example, we wanted to make it look a bit cool here, we could also wrap another command around this command, the round. So when we run this, you see we have this 32.5, 32.75. So when we run this, now we have this average, which is just shows that, okay, averagely is 33. So not much of a difference when you round them up. So these are interesting functions you can use here, and you are able to get some instant feedback just by running this. So now let's see if, for example, you're able, let's run this again. Open this, let's run this. So we have all this data here. So the order is, we've been doing select from. So there could be a where, let's just say where age is greater than 25. And in SQL, we have to follow the order. So I can't put where here. Where, I can't put where here. Where is not valid at this position. So it's where has to come before the group by. So we say where. Now, for example, age. Let me just get this. Age, let's say greater than 25, for example. So if you run this, we get that. So let's just do the count. So we can do the count so that we are able to just, with count, we should see the change. So let's run a count here. So now it is saying that there's only one male with age above 25, and there are 8 females with age above 25. So you are able to now use the select, the from, the where, and the group by in that order. So you now have more commands in your toolkit. So which, if same thing, you could say, I want to know the maximum age or the minimum age, or the sum. Again, if we go to maybe salary here for the staff demographic. So we could say, I want you to just give me the maximum. I want to know, I've seen that average and I'm curious, so I want to know the maximum age. So yeah, we are asking for maximum. So if I run this, it tells me the maximum for female with that condition is 40, and the maximum for male age is 40. So let's see if we take off this one without that condition and run it, see what we get. So we get 40. So it just shows you that you can be able to complement your skills, your aggregation function skills here, using the group by, and you're able to get more insight from your data. So I hope you've been able to learn how to use the group by and understand how to use it along with the aggregation function, so that you can be able to group your data easily. So see you next video. Wish you good data luck.